business partner of Tiger King's Doc Antle making a court appearance today on federal charges of money laundering. Prosecutors say the pair laundered the money as a part of an operation to smuggle illegal immigrants into the country. ABC 15's Tanya Brown is live just outside of the Florence Federal Courthouse where that hearing took place today. So what happened, Tanya?
Jennifer, a judge arraigned Andrew Sawyer on charges in a 10-count indictment. He also allowed Sawyer to remain out of jail on a bond set just a couple of weeks ago. Now, that hearing didn't even last 5 minutes. Afterwards, Sawyer walked out of the courtroom with his lawyer to his car. The indictment says Sawyer is a business partner of Doc Antle, who owns Myrtle Beach Safari. A grand jury indicted Sawyer 2 weeks ago on an additional money laundering charge. The feds initially charged Sawyer and Antle in early June with money laundering of more than $500,000 in cash. The criminal complaint says the money is believed to be the proceeds of an operation to smuggle illegal immigrants across the Mexican border to the United States. Sawyer and his lawyer didn't have much to say today when I asked them for a statement. Mr. Sawyer, are you a lawyer? Is there anything you want to say?
No, thank you. Appreciate
No comment?
No comment.
Sawyer could be back in court in a few weeks for a pre-trial hearing. Now, Doc Antle will be right here tomorrow at this courthouse for a similar hearing to be arraigned on charges in that 10-count indictment. And I found out today about new documents found in his case. Those documents are asking his attorney, Doc Antle's attorney, for information, including information about statements of witnesses they could call if there is a trial in this case. Live outside the Florence Federal Building, Tanya Brown, ABC 15 News.
Tanya, thank you. And prosecutors have not yet set a trial date, but did say during a prior hearing that they're prepared and they are ready for trial. Now, the list of legal troubles for Doc Antle has been growing in the federal money laundering charges. He's accused of being part of a scheme that brought illegal immigrants to the U.S. Antle is also facing numerous charges in Virginia, including animal trafficking. He was most recently indicted by a grand jury there on those trafficking charges. And Antle is also the target of a lawsuit in Horry County, where a woman says one of his monkeys attacked her.
Governor Roy Cooper vetoes a bill that would require sheriffs to work with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
News 13's Anjali Patel breaks down the legislation and why it's getting strong reactions on both sides of the argument.
Senate Bill 101 would have required sheriffs to cooperate with immigration authorities. It's something that two prominent sheriffs in Western North Carolina have taken very different public stances on. Critics are calling it the Show Me Your Papers bill. Senate Bill 101 would require sheriffs to inform ICE if officials cannot determine the legal status of someone charged with homicide, rape, kidnapping, or other high-level offenses. It also would have required them to hold certain individuals if ICE intends to take them into custody. A local immigration attorney says it's unconstitutional and would ruin trust between citizens and law enforcement.
It will destroy community relations between the community and the sheriff, because the sheriff needs the community to prosecute criminals. And if they are not receiving calls from the community for assistance, the public will suffer.
The American Business Immigration Coalition sent a letter signed by more than 400 leaders and advocates across the state, urging the governor to block the bill, saying immigrants are the backbone of our economy.
In already struggling inflation, costs for goods and vegetables and agricultural worker here in North Carolina, if we had a bill like this and, people decide to start leaving or just not going to work because of fear, that would just completely skyrocket more.
Meanwhile, State Senator Chuck Edwards said in part, quote, keeping violent criminals off our streets should be a shared priority. But this veto proves that Governor Cooper isn't interested in increasing public safety if it goes against his liberal donors' wishes, end quote. Now, locally, the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office does not have a 287G agreement, which permits the delegation of certain immigration enforcement actions to local law enforcement agencies. And in 2019, Sheriff Quentin Miller announced they would no longer hold detainees for ICE. In a statement regarding Senate Bill 101, he said, quote, ICE detainers are not valid criminal warrants. A warrant signed by a judicial official is necessary for an individual to be detained at the Buncombe County Detention Facility. Over in Henderson County, the sheriff's office does have a 287G agreement. The sheriff emphasizing, though, that no deputy has the authority to question or take enforcement actions concerning a person's immigration status outside the county's detention facility. Now, this isn't the first time legislation like this has hit Governor Roy Cooper's desk. He vetoed a similar immigration bill back in 2019.
2 days after a fatal shooting in downtown Asheville, the man accused of pulling the trigger is in police custody.
Danquarius Green turned himself in today. News 13's Hannah McKenzie spoke with law enforcement and his attorney.
After turning himself in at the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office, Danquarius Green is scheduled to appear before a judge at 9:30 Wednesday morning here at the Buncombe County Courthouse. Charged with first-degree murder, discharging a firearm within city limits, and going armed to the terror of the people, Danquarius Lamar Green is now in custody at the Buncombe County Detention Facility. The 26-year-old accused of killing Jamel Grant June 10th in downtown Asheville, near the intersection of Spruce and College Streets. APD responded to the area around 2:20 a.m., says Captain Joe Silberman.
This was a particularly brutal killing, especially in light of the victim was shot multiple times in the back.
Did Grant and Green know one another?
We know that they definitely weren't strangers. We believe that they were at the very least acquaintances.
Green turned himself into authorities Tuesday morning without incident.
Very glad that he's in custody and that no one was injured or anything. Homicide warrants can be very dangerous to serve, probably one of the most dangerous warrants law enforcement can serve.
Right now, Silberman says they've got a few theories on a motive.
There is a chance that this could be retaliatory for a past incident that occurred years prior.
Attorney Sean Devereaux is representing Green. Devereaux couldn't go on camera, but did tell us Green has not yet given police a statement, but very much wants to tell his side of the story. He added right now they're treading carefully. APD hasn't ruled out additional charges or arrests in this case, as it's still in the early stages of investigation.